We often hear, it's not the journey, it's the destination. Mike Livingston says they are equally important. In order to arrive at a satisfying destination, the journey should also be satisfying.
In 1969 and 70, I was in the 101st Airborne Division in Vietnam. This is the day I came home. Before I left, my wife Peggy gave me a diary and a sketchbook. And when I returned home, she was disappointed to see that I had not used either one of them. And this experience, I guess, taught me the importance of a positive work environment. We came to Hutchinson in January of 72, bought this little house that was zoned in a light industrial, so I could build that building in the back, which became my foundry, where I could cast bronze. In 79, I started building furniture as well, and was running out of space, so I bought this building on West 5th. That's the art center behind it. And I was in that building till 99. This building was very functional, but it only had windows on both ends. This is the north end right there. This is the south. And you can see, while it was a perfectly good workplace, I mean, it had about 3,200 square feet, there was no light except at the ends. When I put that garage door up to get a little air, the dirt would blow in, cars would drive around through this area right here. So in 1980, we bought 12 acres of land about 10 miles out of town, and it was just open pasture with some mature cottonwood trees on it, and that was it. We drilled a well immediately and started planting trees, and we started building our home there 6 years later in 1986. Now, 35 years later, after purchasing the land, this is how the drive into our property looks today. I planted around 2,000 trees and shrubs on this 12 acres and used about 150 tons of stone to build walls in a number of different places. You can't see it, but there is a stone wall right there. On our drive to the house and shop, you pass what we call the folly entrance. And there are lots, these are crab apples, and we have lots of crab apples. The birds love them, especially as the winter gets later and later and there's less and less to eat. This is the interior of the folly, which is not a great photo, but the crabs were in bloom. Through those trees back there, in just a second you'll see, there was a new shop that I built in 1999 because I decided I didn't want to spend the rest of my life driving to town every day. And that's when I officially became a recluse. The back of my shop, it's kind of in those trees there, but it gives you an idea of the fall color. Those are autumn blaze maples right there. The maples are one of my favorite family of trees, and I have lots of them. As when I mentioned crabs earlier, I've also got about 80 crabs. This is the shop I built in '99. This is from the southeast looking at it. And the only thing important about this is the fact that you notice all the windows. My old shop had virtually no windows, and I just didn't like that. I mean, I think having light, not only light coming in, but a view looking out is so important. And this also is not a great photo, but I took it with the lights out just to kind of give you an idea of the windows. I have big garage doors that I put up, and it's just so much more pleasant being able to work when you can look outside and have something to look at. And also you can put the doors up and get some color. This is a view looking out the front of my shop. And if you remember the other photo when I had my shop in town, when I look out the front of that shop, I had nothing to look at except dirt, concrete, and cars coming by raising dirt. But even these little trees right here in front, I say little, these were planted since the shop was built in '99. This is also out front. That white on the ground, those are blossoms falling from those trees. And you can see the road going up the hill, that goes up to the house. The shop is down the bottom of the hill from the house. But we have lots of different types of trees that we plant for the wildlife of different types. This is up at the house, and this is a set of steps here, is flanked by a couple of sergeant crabs. One thing I liked about the land when we first saw it was the fact that it was not flat. It has great contours. For 12 acres, it seems much larger than it is because of the contours. This is the front yard. That's my hound dog Max right there. And I show this photo because for about 10 years I had a carving bench on the front porch, so that I took parts of my furniture that needed carving. I took them home every night to carve in a more pleasant environment rather than in town. When I was in town, I needed to use my power tools and stuff. And when I sat on the porch, this is the view looking out. You notice a bird bath on the right. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But the road in front of our property is about 250 yards out front. And when we built the house, we could sit on the porch and watch cars go by. Now there's no way you could see a car. From the house, we have a back path down to the shop. And this is just an arch I built. Last summer, it was totally covered with the morning glories, and you couldn't even see it. But the fact that I built furniture, I still have equipment and like to make things that are used on the land. This is out the back door of the house, looking out the kitchen window. We have no yard in back. In fact, we have a minimal amount of yard. And you can't see it, but through the trees there is a second foundry I built, which I built in '87 when we moved out to the country, and spent many years casting. This is that bird bath again, and this is, you can see all the birds. We feed birds year-round and make sure they have water year-round. It also attracts the deer, which I have a love-hate relationship with. They destroy my trees, but yet I put food out for them in the winter when there's of course, animals of all kinds are a requirement to make daily life more enjoyable. And living in the country is the best way to enjoy nature and all her inhabitants. This was a great cat. He weighed 28 pounds. As you can see, it's been a tremendous amount of work, but this has been my journey so far, and I hope you enjoyed the brief look.